Hello everybody, this is Eyes Draws here at ValArtAcademy. We are going to go through every single subroom, every single previous version, and so this is what we see when we enter ValArtAcademy right now. We see this lovely bright lobby with rainbows, markers, paintbrushes on the walls, and all of these greenery, soft colors, all of these things to make you feel nice and welcomed. And even you can check out the time spent in room. This was recently added. And here we have all the rules and frequently asked questions and even a code to the Discord, which sadly doesn't work, but I'll leave a link below to that Discord in case you guys want to see it. And also, one known fact about ValArtAcademy, it is RecRoom's oldest active art community, established in 2018. Now, if we go over here, we see the club itself, and here we have a little robot that we can get some ideas from. So here we can draw something nostalgic, or we could draw a raccoon on a skateboard, which is pretty epic, if you don't ask me. And then over here we have this nice little sitting lounge with a cacti and a banana bird. Then here is the ValArt Maker Pen room. And then if we go through here, we get this nice little L couch, this lovely little paint palette table, and then we got our first artboard, which is drawn on. This was drawn by Rexy Rose back in 2024. Now, the main theme of this room is actually legacy. So this was going to be the last update to this room. So here we have all of our signatures. So ex ValArt staff and current ValArt staff all sign this board. There's probably a lot of names that you could be familiar with, like Molly May, Sumo, Cat, Valhalla, Shocked Black, Joker, Pow, Lily, Commander Wolf, Mr. Films, Quinn. A lot of amazing people are here. And even like Mama Lynn's, Tex-Mex, Golden Cupcake, Zozo, all of these amazing people who took their time to moderate, help ValArt with what it can and all these things. And then here we have another drawing, but this time it's like a blueprint of a previous version of ValArt. This was drawn by Shocked Black and it's super cute. I love it. And then up here we have this big open room with our main markers and erasers, all of those things. But here we have a cute little Animal Crossing drawing that was drawn by Shocked Black, and a couple others helped with drawing their own characters. But this is just a really cute little fun drawing. And then over here we have this welcome back board, which was drawn by Molly May. And then over here we have a Halloween board that was drawn by Eyes Draws. And then over here we got Z Shade and Face drawing, and this one's a fun one. All of these flowers that you see were actually chosen by different staff members. So this one was really cool and very collaborative. And then over here we have Molly May's drawing. She looks a little spooked. And then here we have a autumn or fall drawing by Mr. Films. And then here we have Crystal's drawing of a girl eating a butterfly, which looks so cool and so detailed. And then over here we have this side, we have another Molly May drawing. And then here we have Sumo's piece, which is just awesome. And then back over here we can see how to claim a board with a nice fun little drawing. And then we got a big paintbrush, and then if we climb up this ladder, we come up to this little hangout space where we can walk on this side and look out the window. We can walk along this side and maybe hang out in that little box over there. But here we can hang out and chat, maybe spy on the people drawing below. And then out here we have a little sitting area with a paint bucket, this cute little s'more cat. And then over here is actually leads to a drawing game called Scribble. This one is pretty fun. Definitely take and join that if you want. But yeah, this is the current Valart Academy in its state, and it's pretty awesome. There is also some fun stuff outside called this little area where you can jump pretty high and maybe say hi to our people up here. But yeah, this is what ValArt Academy is currently. Again, ValArt Academy has been around for ages and it's just always been a really enjoyable place for people to come and go. So it's sad to kind of see that it's no longer going to be available to those, but they still have the Discord, so definitely check that out. But anyways, let's go off to the next subroom. Alright, so now we are in the Easter update from 2025. Let's go ahead and check these out. Starting with this corner, we have this simple drawing of like an Easter egg all covering this canvas, nice and orange. And then over here we have a nice guy with some grass. And then over here we have this Easter drawing made by myself with a little duck and bunny in a basket. And then I decided I was gonna make all of these little Easter eggs as different people. So we have people like Lars, Salem, Faith, Crystal, Molly May, Tess, Cat, Sumo, Film, Kitchen Broom, Eyes Draws, Coral, Lily, Dolo, and Seashade. And then as we go up here, we have another drawing of mine with a girl and her bunny, just saying Happy Easter. Then here we have the infamous golden egg for our welcome back board, which was drawn by Molly. And then here we have a silly one of Molly saying, Oi, you bloody stole my me eggs, bruv. And then Sumo is over there chomping, and Cat's like, don't eat them, bro. So that's a pretty fun one. And then we have Corey just saying Happy Easter. And then we have this cute little one by Kitchen Broom with a little heart, bees, and some flowers. And then over here we kind of have a three-way piece of a chicken saying Flint and Steel. And then we have a bunny thinking about Sumo being confused. And then we have this one, and Easter is among us. And as you can see, this little bunny is like among. And then if we go over here, we have a little duck by a cat. And then here we have otters, which is just a cute little bunny in a field with some Easter eggs. And then here we have maker cats, um, little cat character making some Easter eggs and got some little duckies. But yeah, this is the Easter version of 2025. Now let's move on to the next subroom. So here we are in the next subroom. This seems to be a springtime theme. I believe this was also in 2025 or maybe 2024, can't really remember. But let's check it out. So starting over here, we have Kitchen Broom's mushrooms with even a little worm sticking out. This is super duper cute. And then over here, we have Maker Cats. So it says, has nice little hearts and some cards. And then up on these cards, it says to VAA from VAA Mommy Real. And then this one says to Maker Cat from your future soulmate. It's very adorable. And then here we have a drawing from Potato. And this is really cute. It's her and a girlfriend. Super adorable. And then here we have a drawing made by me. It's me and my boyfriend. And it says, John, me, and Happy Valentine's Day. And then here we have Spring Season. This is made by Lars. And he did like Winnie the Pooh characters, but dressed them up as him and his buddies. And then over here we have a cool drawing where we wanted people to color these in. So color me and happy Valentine's Day. This one is very cute and very fun, and it has lots of the ValArt Academy characters, so like Corey, our robot friend, all of those things. And then over here we have Mr. Films' art, and this one is very cute, very colorful, very amazing. And then over here we have Faith's drawing of two birds in love with Valentine heart around them. And then over here we have a unfinished board with Salem and I believe Dolo with Maker Cat and a bit of kitchen broom up the top with some graffiti saying ValArt. And that would be all for this subroom. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. Alright, so this room is actually a room that was being worked on by ValArt Academy. However, it was actually never used, like at all. But a lot of us artists started in here, and I still think it's a pretty great room, and I'm very proud of this and everything. But let's go ahead and take a look at everything and see what you guys thought. Alright, so whenever you spawn into the room, you actually get put right here, and this is what you kind of see. We can go ahead and step forward and we'll go along this top wall. This is where the long marker board, our markers were going to be, and all of the paintbrushes, all of those things. And as you can see, we did some doodles in here, some just silly stuff for everybody. And drawing like friends and all of those things and having a good time with everybody, just hanging out. But yeah, all of these pieces are either unfinished or were sketches or, things of that nature. But this room was definitely going to be a lot of fun. I do wish we actually used this room. It's much bigger, which I think is why we didn't end up using this, because it'd be harder to moderate everything. But I thought it was still a lot of fun. And then if we go down here, we can see this place, and we can see that Crystal is working on something, but she had to go. But then if we go over here, there's actually this little back part, this little nice little hangout spot, little cozy spot. But down here, down all these steps, we actually have this little spot, which is also very nice. So we can see those lovely mountains. But yeah, this place was not utilized or even shown to the public, I don't think. But this place was pretty cool. Obviously not finished, but it was still a lot of fun to kind of come here and hang out with everybody and just kind of have a good time, honestly. Let's go on to the next subroom. So this room might be a little more familiar to everybody. This is the older ValArt Academy in kind of a gray tone. This might have been a room that was being worked on. Obviously we have our joke board. What do you call a Labrador at the beach summer? A hot dog. And then as we go over here, we have cute little board saying draw on me. We got a turtle. We got this awesome little wave going by Shocked Black. And then over here we have a cute little drawing by Papaya. And then here we have our welcome back board drawn by Shocked Black with this amazing scene. Super cool. Love it. And then over here we have some cute little doodles by Molly and different people. Same thing with over here with some butterflies and sumo in the sand. And then we have another draw me board with, I think, Eden kind of going away from the shark. And then over here we have some avatars playing volleyball with a beach ball. But that was this room. Here we have a really old room with all the brown. It looks like it's going to be Easter with how Corey is dressed. Now if we go through here and over, we have some cute little doodles over here and here with some Eden and some Easter eggs with sumo, some flowers, and even we can find some hidden gems of little bunnies. And then here we got a little bird with a um, Easter egg for Molly. And then our welcome back board with Corey as a bunny. And then over here we got some more eggs and some more bunnies with some chicken and an egg. And then these boards are blank, but we did find another bunny rabbit. Super cute. But yeah, this is kind of an older ValArt, as you can tell by all of the colors and even the blanker boards. But these were a lot of fun. Now we can take and head off to the next subroom. Alright, so this subroom is going to be a Pride theme. So we can go ahead and start right here. So we have Happy Pride in summer. And then over here we can see Molly May with her rainbow girl. And then over here we kind of have like a beach scene with some Pride stuff. Awesome. Then over here we have a Draw on Me. This is Happy Pride Month by Crystal. And then over here we have our welcome back board by Shocked Black. And then here we have another welcome back board with a RecRoom Studio update coming-ish. Except we actually never got the RecRoom Studio update. That never happened. But that's okay. And then over here we have some cute little artwork by Jenny and even a little one by Ibarachi. And then over here we have another one with Happy Pride Month by Anthony. And then over here we have this cute little firefly. And then here we have Joker and JB. Here we have another Pride one by Chipu. Very cute. But that was this cute little Pride themed subroom. We're gonna go off to the next one. Alright, so this room is all themed like Halloween. So here we have some cute little ghosts. And then over here we have some silly stickmen. And then over here we have our welcome back board, which also tells us to look out for the pumpkins. So here is my little drawing on this side, and then we have Shocked Blacks, which has Shocked Black and Sumo here, which is very, very funny and very silly. Very much like this. And then over here we have Crystal's drawing, and she also had a couple of us do some mini drawings. So we have Sea Shade right here and me on her shoulder with Rex and Mr. Films. And then over here we have Happy Halloween. This one had a bunch of us either dying or writing things or doing a bunch of silly stuff, but this one was really fun. Very spooky as well, like this little guy back here that Papaya did. And then over here we have this cool piece by Ginny. And then over here we have a lot of cute little doodles and even a little drawing by Papaya with some ketchup. It's not blood, guys, it's ketchup. And then over here we have this lovely little draw on me with a vampire. And then over here we have a drawing that has a little Pikachu and Toothless and some cute little pumpkins that were made by everybody. And I made this little Christian No Bat one. Very cute. And then over here we have this one by Alex Senpai and Zombie. And then over here I have another one of a fall piece that I did. Super fun and even has a hidden little cat right here. But yeah, this was our Halloween or fall themed room, which is super duper awesome. Now let's move on to the next subroom. Alright, so in this subroom we actually have a very winter or Christmas theme, so this one is very cool. And let's check it out. Starting over here, we have a drawing by Faith and Potato with a deer and a little elf girl and even Toothless up there in the back. And then here we have a drawing by me that has a reindeer and a girl saying Merry Christmas. Over here we have red fire and blue fire kind of jumping out into with the presents and having a fun time, kind of, maybe. I mean, red fire seems to be having a good time. Blue fire, she might be a little scared, but that's okay. Over here we have a cute little drawing by Chipu of golden cupcakes saying Merry Christmas, with Ginny also having a nice little Christmas moment with mistletoe. And then over here we have another icy kind of drawing with oatmeal and circus star. Here we have the welcome back board, which is very nice, very lovely, with even Corey having a nice little hat on. And then over here we have this winter dragon for Atlantis. And then over here we have this drawing by me of a girl kind of walking by a toy shop in the snow. And then over here we have this drawing by Scoogy of a girl and her um, as like a Santa girl type thing, which is very cool. And then over here we have this big welcome back board. This is drawn by Crystal. Super amazing, super realistic, super insane. And then over here we have this cute little drawing by Z Shade and that says want some hot cocoa, and he's drinking some cocoa. Then over here we have Ploppy and Molly May as gingerbread cookies. Very cutesy. And then of course we have to go over here to see our joke. Why do reindeer like Beyonce so much? She slays. For this room, that is it. Now let's move on to the next. So right in here, we have our spring edition for 2024. We'll go ahead and start right here. We have this cute little drawing by Jack. And now we can go see over here. This is where we can see our Draw On Me by Rexy. And then over here, we have our cute little drawing with Potato and also Little Dog. And this one's very cute. It's very scrapbooky, and I thought that it was cute to add in Toothless. Over here we have our drawing by Crystal. She did a nice spring Korean addition to the place, which looks so lovely. Over here we have my drawing over on the right, and then we have kitchen brooms right over here, adding some little doodles alongside Goku White. Very cute. And then over here we have our welcome back board with our edition of Animal Crossing with all of our fun little people. And then over here we have Jenny Pill's nice springtime like dragon girl. Super cool, super fun. Absolutely love this. Adorable. And then over here we have that Faith and Z Shade drawing where they took flowers from staff and put them all in here. And then over here we have this drawing by Scoogy. Super cute little Pokemon, I think. Very cute, either way. Over here we have this awesome little drawing by Mr. Films where they're running in a field and there's like a cool dragon in the background. Very epic. And then right here we have this drawing from Kinsey and it's a little deer. As we make our way this way, we see construction is going on with Corey kind of all over the place with little hats to kind of helping move things around. And then over here, what's the difference between summer rolls and spring rolls? Seasoning. And then, Toothless and Among Us again. But yeah, that was this, and of course, Big Corey up there as well. But now we can move on to the next sub room. Alright, so this is actually a brand new room that you may not have seen, so we're actually going to take a look at the entirety of this room. This is for the tropical edition. We didn't have this sub room specifically, or this room for too long. I think only for like one or two decors, but let's take a look. So this is where we spawn. We see the rules, welcome to ValArt, and also the club. We'll go ahead and start in the main room by taking this way. So we have a nice little draw me board with kitchen broom and Andrew Green. And then over here we have this piece by Manatee, kind of just swimming, floating in the water. And then over here we have a collab piece by Shocked Black and Oatmeal. Very, very cute. And then over here we have this piece with Z Shade and even Day Day up in the corner. Or maybe it's Eden, but I think that might be Day Day. And then over here we have this piece with Potato and then by Scoogy. And then over here we have this cute little drawing made by Rexy Rose and then Jenny Pill. And then here is the welcome back board that I actually did. And then over here we have Red Fire on like a pirate ship. And then over here I did just a girl kind of turning with like a nice little beach scene and also a nice little wave. And then over here we have Faith with her toucan, and then also Citrus Burst and Scoogy on the left. And then over here we have a big collaborative board with a bunch of different artists. We have Jenny Pill made this of Cat and Tess. We have some pirates. We have Mr. Films, and we have Supergrass, and even Molly May down in the bottom right. And then as you can see, this room also has 2 floors. So we're going to take a look at that as well. And then here we have our lovely little Draw Me by Faith again. But if we go up this ladder, we will see our joke board say, why can't fish go on a vacation? Because they live in schools. And, you know, our jokes are so funny over here. But here we have our nice little sitting area with our otter. And then over here we have a fireplace with a little sectional around. Very nice, very cozy. And then over here we have another little board with Kinsey, and it says to find all 7 oranges in Valor. So here is that board, and of course we have our robot to ask some ideas. Tropical theme, which definitely matches this room. Very tropical and beachy. But yeah, this was that room. Hope you like that. Let's go to the next subroom. Alright, so this is our Halloween from 2024-2025. Let's go ahead and jump right in and look at all of these art boards. So as we walk in, this is actually kind of a funner themed room. We changed all the wall colors and even added some cute ghosts and mushrooms like that. But let's go ahead and jump right in. So if we take a left, we see Molly May's Batman and even Catwoman. This kind of is a 2 little set, plus a little maze with some corn as a background. And then over here, this is where we see my Halloween board right here. And then over here, we got some frogs as witches by Kitchen Broom. Very funny piece. I love it. And then over here is we have our welcome back board with our lovely little cat drawn by Faith. And then here we have our ghost board with a bunch of little ghosts all drawn by Mr. Films. And then over here we have another Draw Me board that I created of some witches, a mushroom witch and a pumpkin witch. And then over here we got our big board with a bunch of people from ValArt, with Corey and even Faith up there kind of being creepy, with Sumo, Coral, me and Molly up there hiding, and Tess and Kat, Kitchen Broom, bunch of different people all hanging out, kind of scared of Corey at the moment, but super awesome either way. And then here we have our little sectional with a little fireplace and even a cute little fox hanging out. And then over here we have our staircase, which leads upstairs. And then if we go across into this, we can see our featured artist, which was Mr. Films. And then through here, we have our cute little artboard. This is a little fox of a witch and a pumpkin with some candy. And then through here, we have our cute little sitting area with our ghost robot now. Let's click favorite flower. And then here we have more pumpkins and brooms and all of those things. Now, if we go back downstairs and go out this door, we'll see our ghost board, which I made. Where do ghosts prefer to shop? At the boutique. I thought it was funny. And then over here we have this nice little area to sit and chat, and also a little cauldron. Super cute. I really love this room. This is a fun room. Let's check out the next sub room. Now here's our autumn room. This is the same setup as last time, but it's all in the theme of autumn. Here we have this cute little drawing of Ginny Pill and also Alex. And then here we have that same maze with the corn. And then right here we have Mr. Films. And then right here we have kind of a happy fall corn maze saying ValArtAcademy. This was drawn by Mars. Very cool. Awesome. And then right here, we actually decided to do a word search piece. So we have this little section with Little Fox by Mano, and also this autumn word search, which also has like some hidden names in there as well. If you can find them, go right ahead. And then we also have this drawing by Potato down at the bottom right. And then here we have our welcome back board by Faith with Corey kind of on a swing with it saying sumo is missing, but here we can see his like shadowy figure in the distance. So it's kind of spooky, but also kind of cool at the same time. And then here we have a piece that I did and what Molly did. So Molly did this cool pumpkin pie, which makes me crave it every time I see it. And then here is my piece that just says let's draw, and it's just a autumn type of girl. And then over here we kind of have a piece by Mr. Films. He did the background over here. And then we have Scoogy right on this side. Super cool. And then over here we have a bunch of little doodles, bunch of cute little doodles. Here we have like a photograph, and then we have a bunch of stick figures of different people from ValArt, including another piece by Mr. Films up here, and this little drawing of Rexy Rose. And then again we have this piece by Maker Cat. This is very cool, very fun little forest. And then up these stairs, we can see this board. It's like a little cappuccino um, thing by Molly May. And over here, we just have more pumpkins and autumn decor. Now we can go off to the next sub room. So here is our Christmas room. Now, this is a pretty crazy room, but let's go ahead and get started. Here we have a piece by Scoogy, kind of holding a present, and then I think this is supposed to be Cloudman and also Maker Cat. And then here we have this piece by Cloudman, which is very cool, very dystopian. And then here we have this piece by Molly May. And then over here we have Red Fire and Blue Fire with Alexis and I believe her boyfriend maybe. Very cool. And then over here we have this piece by Lars which says Happy Holidays. And then over here we have our welcome back board that was made by Mr. Films. So it has all these little cabins, Corey as Santa giving out all of the gifts. And then we have a bunch of different ValArtAcademy staff. And as you can see, I'm right there with Molly. So cool. And then over here, we did this big collaborative board. So a bunch of us decided to make our little characters in kind of a winter mode. Um, And as you can see, I'm right there. Joker's right there, Shocked, Dolo, Molly, a bunch of different people, all collaborative. Um, and then over here we have my Christmas board for Valor. We got Santa in his workshop kind of working on some toys. And we have Mrs. Claus on this side reading Frosty. And then over here we got Shocked Black's Christmas board where he kind of drew out the layout of this building and put it in right over here and added a couple of our characters around the map. Very, very cool. And then out over here, if we take a left and take a left again, we can see that there's snow coming out everywhere and even have our stockings on the chimney and everything. And of course, the little fox is sleeping. But if we go upstairs and we go right through here, we can see all of this. Again, featured artist. And then over here we have a little thing that says Happy Holidays by Maker Cat. And then if we go out and over, we got a gingerbread, we got all of this little sitting area, Christmas tree, and of course we have our little robot again playing with the snow, all of that. And then over here we have this piece by Kitchen Broom, which is very, very cool. Love the style of this. Very awesome. And if you come outside, we have our little snowman and penguin around the fire. And then over here, we have our joke. Did you hear about the man who stole an advent calendar? He got 25 days. Now, this is our Christmas room. Alright, so that's the end of the video. Unfortunately, there's probably not a lot of things going on with ValArt anymore. However, I did want to make this video just to kind of show some appreciation to the ValArtAcademy team. They have done a lot for me, supported me. In general, gave me a lot of friends that I probably wouldn't have. They were also the first couple of artists that I got to meet. Before that, I had not been around many artists in RecRoom. I only spoke to maybe like 2 or 3, if that, and then, Valor Academy like really welcomed me, so I am just very, very grateful to Valart. They helped me a lot with a lot of tough situations and all of those things. So this is why I made this video, is kind of for them to kind of look back on. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If not, that's okay too. I won't, no hate for anybody, but I appreciate you guys. So thank you for watching.